Good morning. Good morning. We have made it through another week. We've enjoyed our weekend and we are back to Monday. Now, for some individuals, Mondays are sort of a drag, right? Sort of uh, something that we don't anticipate with the most joy. Back to work, back to the grinds of the normal work week. But I want to talk about this morning something that I'm hearing more and more often, especially in regular conversation with a lot of the guys I know, but then also a lot of videos on YouTube are starting to highlight, you know, this particular topic that we're discussing this morning. And the topic we're talking about is respect. And as individuals, as human beings, we afford each other a certain level of respect. We give that to each other out of courtesy. But now, the kind of respect that we're talking about is something that is involved in relationships that we have, whether they're friendships or marriages or anything else, intimate relationships. So, how do you build respect in those areas? Um, well, uh, let's talk about an example for a moment, okay? Uh, we'll talk about an example of a hardworking husband. When you see this guy, he always looks tired because he's devoting anywhere from 60 to 80 hours, maybe even more, in an attempt to take care of his family, while at the same time having the duties of being a husband and a father on his shoulder. He is fully taking on the responsibility of being a protector and a provider, right? And in addition to that, all of the many demands on him, they come from his employment, from his boss, from his manager, you fill in the blank. And so with all these things going on, uh, at times he is exhausted. He's exhausted. But the response from his wife and children is nothing but the utmost respect. Because you see, this particular gentleman has been doing this for a prolonged period of time. As a matter of fact, he does it until his life ends, until he passes away. So now I know you're asking now, Marco, what does that have to do with respect? That's a nice story, but what does it have to do with respect? I'll tell you. In layman's term, respect is really the combination of two very important factors, right? And the two are appreciation and admiration. Let me explain. I know it's Monday morning. I'm giving you too much too early, but let me explain. We say appreciation because that's valuing what is done for you. You're hungry, someone brings you something to eat. Now, you know I appreciate that because of the way that I eat. Or there's something that you need. Maybe you're a student and you need something for class and your parents provide that. You appreciate, you value what's provided for you because you need it, right? But what about admiration? Well, admiration comes into play in how you do things, right? How? Um, you could, as this gentleman who's going to work, you could go and be productive and bring back everything that you need for the family, but the interpersonal reaction that you get from the family could be something totally different because the gentleman could be difficult to deal with, right? He could be a negative person in general. He's doing everything he's supposed to do, but his attitude is not correct. He doesn't have a provider and a protector mentality, right? He neglects his wife. He neglects his children. He's generally not fun to be around. But then you contrast that with the example that we just gave. This individual is working hard. He's providing emotionally and materially, whatever kind of way that is required of him to produce, he's producing. And he has the most wonderful effect on his wife and his children because of the way that he does things. Or another example, think about grade school. Let's go back there. Your favorite teacher. Why were they your favorite teacher? because the way that they interacted with you and everyone else was positive. You appreciated the way that they interacted with you and others. So much so to the point that sometimes we take on those individuals as role models, and we aspire to be like them, to have their attitude for the rest of our lives. And so that admiration is something that's very powerful, very noteworthy. So in the end, respect is admiration and appreciation, because you respect what's done for you and how it's done for you. And the combination garners respect. So now you understand why it is that we say that it takes some time to build respect, because it's something that has to be proven over time. It's something that has to be acquired over time, because the way that you do things and how you do things has to become evident to the people around you. And it goes back, like we said, to the gentleman that's working hard every day. The way he does things and what he does garners respect from his family. They come to love him and appreciate him and aspire to be like him because of what he's producing day in and day out. So that's the thought. Are you garnering respect around you? Well, it has to do with the way you do things and what you do. A lot of individuals complain. They say, well, I'm not respected the way that I should. Well, examine what you're doing. Examine how you're doing it. But then, more importantly, examine how it is that individuals react to you when you're doing things to garner respect. Because let's be honest. I know you haven't had your coffee, but we have to be honest about this. There are going to be some individuals who are not going to respect you no matter what you do. To them, you will always be the villain, right? So in those instances, what you do and what I would recommend is that you maybe distance yourself from those who don't appreciate your efforts to be respectful and to be respectable, right? Because now, as we mentioned, all of this is in positivity. This is energy that you are expending, right, to acquire something that's positive. Respect is always going to be helpful in life. There are doors and rooms that I've been able to enter that had nothing to do with a degree, had nothing to do with individuals that I knew. It all had to do with the respect that I had garnered. So young men, make it a priority. Make it a priority. What you do and how you do it is so very important. You can build a life of respect that when things become difficult, or when there's something that you really need, maybe there's something that you need to be taught, something that you need to learn. Because of the respect that you garnered, individuals will not hesitate to take you under their wing and teach you what you need to be taught. So that's necessary for you all. It's necessary for everyone, as a matter of fact. We focus on the young men sometimes, but respect is necessary for everyone. And so I had that notion this morning that I wanted to share it with you. Appreciation and admiration is what builds respect. And I think that it's a worthwhile quality. I think that if we seek to develop respect and we act in a respectable way, we will never, ever regret it. I know I haven't. As I mentioned, it's done quite a bit for me. And so I think that that was a good thought to share with you for this morning. I think it was. But you know how we end this thing, right? We end it the same way every Monday. It's kind of becoming my catchphrase, right? Do something positive. Whatever you can think of, right? Do something positive and watch it come back to you in greater measure. I know that there are some individuals out there in the audience who are watching this who have tried it and have benefited from it. And for the most part, I hope that things continue to go well. I hope that you continue to avail yourself of things that are positive. I hope that the week goes well for you. I hope that all your interactions go well. As always, you know we love you.